It's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have DC Corrigan. And we're going to be discussing his amazing book, Doomsday Warriors, Dawn of the Guardian. And it's available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, pretty much any online book reseller. But people, if you want to gather everything that Donald has in store, do yourself a favor and head directly to his personal site. And that's doomsday-warriors.com. There, you'll find more information on him, more information on his fantastic book, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing page. So one more time, that's doomsday-warriors.com. And I will say, Donald was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best publishers in the business, Writers Branding. So if you or anyone you know have a book that they'd like moved, people, give yourself the best gift you could possibly give. Contact Writers Branding and have their wonderful team move it for you. You can find out more information on them at writersbranding.com. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Donald here on the line. Now, the moment you head on over to his Amazon, Barnes & Noble pages, doomsday-warriors.com, you start to do any research on the book, well, you know what you're in store for, okay? And right there in the title, it leaves a lot to the imagination, but it also lets you know that you're getting ready for some type of epic journey, okay? And that's what's in store for you today. I don't know about you all, but I'm really looking forward to this because after the past 3 years, going on what feels probably like 40 years now that we've been dealing with this pandemic, the social divide, the political unrest. I mean, listen, people, there's enough to go around, okay? There's a lot of adversity. There's a lot of challenges in the air, and I don't know about you, but I have been yearning for something to take me away from the day-to-day monotony that has become this COVID living situation, that has become this unrest. The uneasiness in the air is something that I think we have all just probably had enough of. And Doomsday Warriors, I'm telling you people, is the perfect exit strategy. It is a fantastic journey to just get lost in, an absolute page turner. Okay, something taken in the age that we're living in now, with Marvel and DC and all these, these superhero movies and television shows. This is something that needs to be on the screen. Okay. And just remember, when it finally does come on the screen, you heard it here first, okay? Here through People of Distinction, we witnessed it, we realized it, and now we have the pleasure to talk to Donald himself, because at the end of the day, he's the expert. He's written the book, he's done the research, and he's going to be able to articulate it much better than I ever could. So without further ado, let's bring him here with us, okay? Donald, first and foremost, man, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Donald. Thank you very much. I'm better than I deserve, but I'm blessed, and it's great to have you on the network, man. I meant what I said. I think what you're embarking upon here is really surreal, right? I mean, the narrative, of course, it's a fictional narrative. It is absolutely surreal, but I think that underlying message of unity, hope, and everything that you're going to go into further details with is something that we can all get behind. So it truly is a pleasure to have you here with us. And before we go into the book, Donald, I think it's important to learn a little bit more about your background. So let's start there. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Currently what I do for a living other than writing is I do in-home healthcare, but I currently take care of elderly veterans of our military, and it is a rewarding job. I enjoy it very much. To me, I feel like I'm giving back something to them because of everything they've done for us.
Yeah,
and that means a lot to me. My father was career military. My grandfather was career military. So it runs in the family, and I'm, proud to do what I can for our veterans.
I love that, man. Listen, I often say whenever I have military guests on our network, or whenever I even meet somebody of the military, the common phrase is always thank you for your service. And I always feel like it just doesn't do enough, right? Because of the sacrifices that they've made protecting our liberties here in the States. So I'm right there with you, man. For you to be able to have the opportunity to help care for some of these individuals, I think is truly, truly something that I know they appreciate, and something that I feel every time when I say thank you for your service and I feel like I'm not doing enough. This is what I mean. More can be done, and you're doing it, brother. And I love it, man. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Nothing but continued success to you, your loved ones, and all of your future endeavors, man. That's a fantastic thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And I'm more than happy to do it for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Donald, without further ado, man, let's jump right in. The anchor for today's interview is all about your fantastic book, Doomsday Warriors. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, the current book that was published, Dawn of the Guardian, it revolves around twins named Mikhail and Syra. They're descendants of a bloodline known as the Chandra bloodline, which had tied to a powerful weapon known as the Angel Blade, which was created solely for their ancestor named Tanner. And the sword itself is actually tied to their bloodline. Only their bloodline could wield that sword. And the sword was created as a means to fight against the darkness that had come to the world. The world itself consists of two continents. One is known as Kadima, the other one is Nodus. And the first great conflict that broke out was known as the Guardian War, and that's where Tanner made his rise, and the weapon was forged on his behalf in order to protect the world. You fast forward a few generations, and now you have the era of Mikhail and Syra, and they are burdened with the quest to protect their world, their loved ones, and from the darkness. The source of this darkness has emerged, which was a being that destroyed the world, nearly destroyed the world 2,000 years prior to that. His name is Thanathar. So when he starts to reemerge and they're starting to put the clues together, that's when they realize that they need to do something to stop it. And of course, he has plenty of minions, plenty of generals and soldiers who are willing to do what they need to in order to free him, because he is actually trapped within a stone fragments that, when brought together, will forge one single stone known as the Abyss Stone. And if that comes together, he's able to be freed and wreak havoc on the world once again. So their quest is actually to stop him and to stop his generals and his army from not only destroying the world, but unleashing him onto the entire world, which would bring about an age of shadow, as it's known, because he is known as the Lord of Shadow.
Hey, you have it. People, I'm telling you, this is something directly out of a Marvel film. I love it. I want to go there next, Donald. When we're talking about inspiration, I mean, what inspired you to write this narrative?
As a boy, I've actually always loved to write. When I was a boy, I used to read a lot of books, sci-fi and fantasy books, like Lord of the Rings, Dune, Star Wars, Star Trek, all those stories. I loved getting lost in all those different stories. And it wasn't until I read the stories by Timothy Zahn, who did the first, I believe it was the first book they did in the expanded universe for Star Wars. And he really broke the mold, because he took Star Wars to a whole new level and introduced fans to a whole different era for the Star Wars franchise, and I loved the way he wrote. And that really inspired me as a boy. And so from there I started writing, and I even got involved in all the writing contests in school just to have a chance to write fun stories. And then when I was 14, the idea of writing my own book came to me. And the book that I'm talking about now, I actually began when I was 14 years old. I first wrote it up on my Macintosh computer, and it was like, I think, 65, 70 pages. So it wasn't very big, but it was the beginning of what it would become today. And then as I got older, the story continued to expand and got more mature. And I actually have the layout for 12 different books for the main storyline that follows this entire story, plus additional stories about the lore, the characters, and other events that surround the main storyline. But if I had to put it down to one person, I would say Timothy Zahn was probably one of my biggest inspirations. And then other than him, I would say the storytelling of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Definitely.
People, again, we're here on the line with D.C. Corrigan. We're discussing his amazing book, Doomsday Warriors, Dawn of the Guardian. Available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, but make sure you head on over to his personal site, doomsday-warriors.com. You know, Donald, next question that I'd love to get into, man, we know about the book, we know about the inspiration that helped you create it. Well, who would you say is your intended audience with the book? And what is the main message or one of the messages that you hope that they receive from it?
Honestly, anybody who loves science fiction or fantasy, it's made for them. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why I wrote, is because I was trying to give something fun to fans of science fiction and fantasy. One of the messages that I guess would really, I hope they take away from that, is the power of hope, unity, perseverance, and just, the importance of getting past any kind of obstacle, no matter how difficult it is, because it is possible. You just have to have the will to do it.
Curiosity from myself here, Donald, with the next one, man. What would you say was a highlight for you in writing the book? Or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't anticipating before you began?
Honestly, one of the things that surprised me most over the years as I've been writing and working on this project is how easily I'm able to just let it flow. I can't explain it. It comes to me, and I just go with it. And honestly, that's part of the fun too, because as I continue to expand on the story, I get to create new characters, I get to create new villains, I get to create new creatures, places, all to tie in lore in the story just to make it bigger and make it more fun, make it more exciting, and in some cases make it scary, because there are some scary elements to the story itself, because some of the villains and the creatures are meant to be frightening. But that all adds to the fun of the story and the thrill of it.
Mm-hmm. We know about this book, Donald. We know about your past, man. Let's talk about the future, okay? This book is incredible, and we are hoping that there are so much more ahead. But talk to us, man. Is there another book on the horizon? What's upcoming for you?
Definitely. I am currently working on the second book right now. I am on chapter 14 of that book. The first book itself was 24 chapters long. So the fact that I'm on chapter 14, I'm a good way through it already. I've been working on it diligently, trying to make it work, but I don't ever rush my work. I want to make sure that it's good. I want to make sure that it's consistent, and I want to make sure that it really ties in to the other book itself, because as I said earlier, I do have the layout for about 12 different books that covers the span of about 2,500 years. And the events all lead up to the point, from one point to the other, and it really expands lore, and it makes you able to really invest in the characters and invest in the struggles and be a part of that world. You really are able to immerse yourself into it, and that's what I really like to do. But yes, I have a lot of plans for that series itself, along with the main storyline, but also with the other stories, side stories, if you will, that revolve around the main storyline.
Mm-hmm. People, there's more on the horizon. I'm telling you, it's the gift that keeps on giving. You got to head back on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, doomsday-warriors.com, and get involved as soon as you can. Last question here for you, Donald, as we start to close out. I love having this platform, okay? I'm an artist myself, but I'm in a different medium, okay? I'm an actor and a filmmaker locally based here in Los Angeles, but I love having this platform to be able to utilize it in a way, paying it forward, of course, whenever the opportunities present themselves. Now, for someone that has written this book, another book on the horizon, but not only have you written the books, you're also going through the process. You've gotten this one published, and the next one is coming out very shortly. So I definitely want to take the opportunity for any new writers out there, someone listening in that's just starting out on their writing journey. What is some words of wisdom that you can offer them about the journey they're getting ready to embark upon?
One of the things that I would say is write down all your ideas. Even if you think it's a small idea when you're working on your book or your project, write it down. There have been so many times that I have written down one simple idea, and it has expanded into something much bigger. So even if you think it's not a really good idea, or if you just think it's an okay idea, that's okay. Just write it down, take notes, and keep a log of all the stuff you're doing, because you'll be surprised how much that will help you later on.
Fantastic. Listen, people, that is wonderful advice. I absolutely love it. And you know what I love even more? Is we're at the end of the interview now. We've discussed so much information pertaining to his book, Doomsday Warriors, and yet somehow we've barely scratched the surface. I mean, there's so much left to be discovered. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, doomsday-warriors.com is where you have to go. I'm telling you, this is a book that needs to be on everybody's shelf. If you are someone that just wants to get lost in a journey, this has it for you. If you're someone that wants to have a fictional narrative but really have something that's rooted and steeped in realistic circumstances in terms of the message, right? When I started off by saying the importance of unity, hope, the legacy that we leave behind, people, this is something we can all latch onto. This is something that we can all relate to. This book has it. And sooner or later, I'm telling you, this is going to be on the big screen as well. You're going to be able to head on over to the movie theaters and check it out yourself with your eyes, because this is something too good to pass up. Head on over there today, pick up your copies, a wonderful book to add to your shelf, an even better gift to add to someone else's. So you know where to go. Donald, this has been a pleasure, man. Such an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
And thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was very fun. I enjoyed talking with you about it. You're very good at that.